Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. Today, we're diving into something that truly defines Derrain as a hero, the teams that unlock his real power. Because Derrain is not a standalone warrior. He's not a hero you drop anywhere and expect miracles. He is a pressure-based, execution-driven frontline engine, and when placed in the right environment, his impact multiplies dramatically. For now, this was where we found he shine more. Maybe in a month or two we can see more options. These teams are not random. Each one is built to highlight a different aspect of Derrain's kit, his crushing amplification, his execution pressure, his synergy with sustained damage, and his ability to turn frontline pressure into team-wide dominance. Let's begin. The first team brings together Derrain, Yasmin, Burner, Hus, and Octavia. This composition is built around layered pressure and constant threat. Derrain anchors the front line, absorbing damage and activating his crushing mechanics. That alone sets the tone of the fight. But what truly elevates this team is how every other hero feeds off that pressure. Yasmin thrives in chaotic environments where enemies are distracted and disrupted. Drayne provides exactly that. While enemies focus on breaking through him, Yasmin finds windows to strike isolated targets. Burner adds sustained damage that punishes prolonged engagements, ensuring that even if the enemy survives the initial pressure, they're constantly bleeding power. Hus plays a crucial role here. With critical hits flowing from Yasmin and the team's overall tempo, Hus converts aggression into sustain, keeping the team alive while the fight stretches. Octavia completes the picture by adding dodge, disruption, and tempo control. She slows the enemy's momentum, forcing misfires and missed attacks, and every missed attack gives Derrain more time to do what he does best. This team doesn't rush. It suffocates. The longer the fight goes, the worse it becomes for the opponent. The second team pairs Derrain with Yasmin, Tempest, Somna, and Aiden. This lineup shifts the focus toward control and delayed execution. Derrain still leads from the front, creating the damage window. Yasmin remains the finisher, but the way the fight unfolds is very different. Tempest introduces timing manipulation, slowing down enemy progress and extending critical moments. Somna layers additional disruption, forcing enemies into awkward positions and preventing clean rotations. Together, they stretch the fight just enough for Derrain's pressure and buffs to stack. Aiden is the stabilizer. His shielding and sustain allow this team to survive early volatility without collapsing. That stability is vital because it gives Derrain the breathing room he needs to activate his execution mechanics at the right moment. What makes this team special is patience. It doesn't overwhelm instantly. It waits. It controls. And when enemies finally dip into execution range, Derrain closes the fight decisively. The third team brings together Derrain, Burner, Somna, Folio, and Polaris, a composition designed to maximize battlefield control and damage amplification. Yes, we all know Folio is amazing, but they can't work alone. This team is a masterclass in synergy. Derrain establishes frontline pressure and crushing amplification. Polaris locks down tempo, stacking slows and stuns that prevent enemies from ever feeling comfortable. Folio destabilizes positioning, forcing reactions instead of actions. Somna adds another layer of disruption, breaking enemy rhythm and punishing clustered formations. And Burner thrives in exactly this environment, long, controlled fights where sustained damage becomes overwhelming. What's important here is that Derrain doesn't need to carry damage alone. His role is to enable. He creates the conditions that allow Burner and Folio to reach their peak efficiency. Every second the enemy is delayed or misaligned is another second where Derrain's buffs and execution pressure loom closer. This team feels inevitable. Once it takes control, it rarely lets go. The fourth team pairs Derrain with Mushy, Soleil, Burner, and Somna. This lineup leans heavily into sustained pressure and frontline dominance. Derrain and Mushy together form a brutal forward presence. While Derrain absorbs pressure and activates crushing, Mushy applies constant frontline stress that forces enemies to commit resources early. Soleil adds burst potential and scaling damage that benefits enormously from Derrain's amplification. Burner continues to punish drawn-out engagements, while Somna disrupts enemy flow and prevents clean counterplay. This team thrives when the enemy cannot disengage. Derrain ensures that pressure never fully drops, Mushy holds the line, and the backline damage steadily escalates. It's not flashy, it's relentless. When this team wins, it feels like the opponent simply ran out of answers. The fifth and final team comes from our colleague and fellow content creator Pio, pairing Derrain with Burner, Hus, Soleil, and Peach. This composition explores a more aggressive, hybrid approach. Derrain remains the anchor, but the team leans into faster pressure and dynamic damage patterns. Burner continues her role as sustained damage dealer, while Soleil adds explosive moments that capitalize on Derrain's buffs. Hus converts aggression into survivability, ensuring the team doesn't collapse during heavy exchanges. Peach brings unpredictability and burst potential, forcing enemies to constantly adapt. What makes this team interesting is how flexible it feels. It can push forward aggressively, but it doesn't fall apart if the fight drags on. Derrain's presence keeps damage scaling relevant, and the mix of burst and sustain makes this lineup difficult to read. It's a reminder that Derrain doesn't belong to a single archetype. He adapts to the team around him. So, Guardians, what do these teams tell us? Derrain is not about instant impact. He is about pressure, timing, and amplification. He rewards teams that can control the battlefield, survive early exchanges, and capitalize on execution windows. When built into the right environment, Derrain doesn't just deal damage, he defines how the fight unfolds. And as more tools are released, as his ecosystem grows, these synergies will only become stronger. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.